Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for December 5, 2023, the Money Laundering in Singapore edition. And we begin with that story from Bloomberg, which talks about the 10 Chinese nationals who were arrested recently on charges of money laundering earlier this year, I should say. Turns out the authorities have seized more than 2.8 million Singapore billion dollars in gold bars, cars, and properties, and the tally may rise. The seizures have sent shockwaves through the nation, prompting a review of the policies that were exploited to allow so much money to be laundered for so long at some of the world's biggest banks in Singapore. There were serious risks or obvious questions which require a much more rigorous and significant due diligence to be done on the provenance of potential bank customers. Next up from the BBC, what do employers expect their employees to know about AI? Well, it's not just HR teams that are looking out for AI skills. All companies are looking for experience around ChatGPT and OpenAI. AI tools not only make an employee more potentially valuable, but they can teach other team members to use them. So jobs having or requiring this skill are the fastest growing, obviously, but if you have these, it's going to make you more marketable even in compliance. Next up from Reuters, Governor DeSantis goes after Disney again. And this time he said that the former tax district employees were treated by employees like Disney, giving them complimentary perks and passes that were akin to bribes. Yes, Disney giving employees and its board employees passes to Disney. Wow. Sounds like a hell of a corruption scandal to me. Of course, it's Ron DeSantis, so you have to consider the source. And our final story comes to us from the South China Morning Post, featured a regular contributor to the Daily Compliance News. And China's top graph buster has said corruption has become harder to detect due to the crackdown on corruptions. But over the holiday season, he will certainly be watching for extravagant spending. Interestingly, it is called potentially 4 forms of decadence around different strategies engage in bribery and corruption.
The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.